Hello. Hello, my dear friends. Greetings, everyone. I hope you can see me and you can hear me well. And I was so happy reading your messages and also sharing your information about the weather. That is something we can begin with. Can you hear me? Can you see me well? Let's follow our tradition. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And greetings to Michigan and Uppsala, Sweden. And hi, Trev. And I'm protected here by Philip and Martin and Spencer and Rudy and Michael. If someone is not in active duty, they are on duty all the time. So I want to thank you guys and Thomas for an amazing work on Discord. And remember, that we have a very active Discord group that our boss Data is the dictator of. So anyway, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Richard, for joining as a sponsor. And today on the channel, there will be one very interesting interview that will, of course, be open for everyone. But I wanted our sponsors to feel special. So right after stream, they will get the first access. And then the rest will watch it just an hour later. Thank you so much, William, and promise me that you will watch the interview because that's with a Saha activist. And I personally love this conversation, so I discovered a lot of very interesting things, and I hope you will enjoy it too. Greetings to Vegas. Let's tell us a little bit about your location and your weather here. I can tell you that in my part of Ukraine, it is getting warmer. It is getting sunnier, but still just like 10 Celsius degree. And I have a friend in England, and she constantly shares photos of trees in blossom. That's something we don't have yet. A way to go. But what is your weather like before we continue talking about the Russian economy that is in disaster? Dry, warm in Yorkshire. Dry in Yorkshire? Are you joking? Southern hemisphere, so it's autumn. Yeah, I know. It's so unusual for me that because my birthday is like super summer here in Ukraine, and when I speak with my family in Argentina, they say you have birthday in winter, and you think that's something that is difficult. Greetings from Nice, says Francois, and the beautiful weather, 16. I think soon you will be able to swim in the waters. Plus 18 in Malta. Lucky you people. Thank you so much, Serkan. Serkan, you will have early access to our interview and 50,000 thank yous for your constant support. Quite sunny and still chilly. Yeah, that's what I can say about Volyn, for example. But you have to know, Ukraine is a very big country in comparison to many. So sometimes it may be very cold in Kyiv and warmer in my native city or the country. It's sunny in Helsinki and sunny and dry in California, and I believe warm in California. At least that's how I see your beautiful state. A wonderful weather in Portugal. Yeah, I know. One beautiful day I will spend the winter. Well, one beautiful year I would love to spend the winter in Portugal or elsewhere. Greetings to Canada. And in St. John's, the oldest city in North America. That's so. I will Google it. I promise you after the stream. So it is the closest point to Europe. That's so interesting. I will definitely read more. I love such histories. Um, like London and Scotland, like my I had this image of London and being a little bit colder, but it feels like now it's way warmer. Next winter, come to Turkey. That's also an option. Thank you so much. Sunny in Paris. Thank you so much. quiet and dry in Denmark right now, and I think it's beautiful. Quiet and, quiet soon will be a very rare word to describe our life, because it's not a very good joke. But I remember talking with my colleagues. I spoke about that in my recent vlog. I remember speaking with my colleagues from Albania. I don't know if anyone's watching from Albania, but we were joking that like we've met just 2 weeks ago, and plus one war, because the project we want to work about is closely connected to fighting misinformation, disinformation. And it was just like, okay guys, our project seems to be very important. Yeah, I know that there are many Ukrainians in Portugal for a very long period of time, long before the war. Thank you so much, Duncan. Thank you. Sunny in Texas, 80 Fahrenheit. It's like 27 Celsius. People, and Spencer in particular, keeps teaching me Fahrenheit, but I'm not that good. And Martin must take control. Anyway, thank you so much. And thank you, Trev, for buying me coffees. All the amazing people who choose to be sponsors. Finally, there will be additional perks for you, beginning with emojis and stickers, but also with some posts or backstage videos that you can watch as sponsors, plus early access as to this interview that will appear today. Greetings to Scotland, and again, we have a lot of people watching us from Portugal. I kind of like it a lot. I know that, you know what they say in Ukraine about Portugal, that you have to stay on diet for a month before you travel to Portugal, lose like 2-3 kilos, because it's so tasty in your country that you will gain. And if you want to be in this like shape, so I really have a friend who did that. Russell Whiskey, thank you so much for your support. Greetings to Oklahoma, 85 degrees and sunny. Ukrainian cooking lessons. Yeah, after we cook Putin, definitely more cooking lessons. But before that, we will definitely talk a lot about economy today, because the world is getting crazy. And you know that a lot of, greetings to Gotland, you know that a lot of things changed since our previous stream. And as a person who feels for people of Iran, I do understand they need help. But I also know that we need a plan beginning any special military operation or war or anti-terroristic operation or anything. It is super important to have a plan. Doesn't seem like there is one. And what we have fuel here in Ukraine. I don't like when you say crisis, like trust me, here in Ukraine, when prices go up like 5%, nobody cares, because you literally have to survive during a night. Thousands sometimes of drones to different locations. So like we have a lot of things fluctuating. And the problem is like nobody has a plan, and that's bad. And most importantly, nobody's sharing the truth. Russia gets sanctions lifted, Belarus gets sanctions lifted. And thank you so much, IBEG. And recently I've noticed that some of you were surprised, including my close friends, when I said that we were targeted from Belarus. You know that I live in the north of Ukraine. And it's nothing new. It's not that it happened this week. They targeted the city Novovolinsk, an electricity station, and we had some outages, not very serious ones. But I feel that many of you think that Belarus is not involved. No, Belarus is all in since the very beginning. And that's why, like, they do not participate with their army. And sometimes people say, aren't you afraid that Belarus will join with their army? Belarus has like 40,000 soldiers. You know that our KPI is 50,000 soldiers per month, and we are close to it. So the whole army of Belarus Thank you so much, Martin, and hugs to Zurich Oblast. You know that with this kind of attitude, it's not something that changes the course of war, and Belarus does not want to lose all of its resources, all of its army, even though this state is fully annexed by Russia. So, what is bad? When sanctions are lifted on Belarus, literally the next day after they targeted my region, just imagine how it feels in general. But I'm not surprised anymore. And someone says that my favorite city is Zurich. Oh, Serkan actually says that his favorite city is Zurich. So we have like community shaping. A lot of people from Portugal, a lot of people who like Zurich. And so it is, thank you so much, Samuel. So Belarus, it's just like when they like free prisoners, or we have this swaps of prisoners of war, it's always good, it's always important. It is it is happiness in such difficult times, especially if we're talking Ukrainian prisoners of war, but even good people in Belarus liberated. But that's not something you can lift sanctions for, because tomorrow he will imprison more and you will like again lift sanctions. And Another big problem that Russia uses Belarus fully. Russia uses its resources, its territory to attack us. And of course, Russia uses its banking sector. So if you lift sanctions on Belarus, it means you open an opportunity for the Russian banks. And it's insane that you lift sanctions on Russia so that Russia gets more money and shares more intel to attack, which is bad for the Russian soldiers. I'm sorry, which is bad for the American military bases. It's literally them sharing the intel. And now, what was perhaps even funnier is that they lift sanctions on Iranian oil. It's just like, I know for me, like the thing that they give Russia a chance or something is bad, but we are now talking about even the army of Iran. Thank you so much, Gary. Happy to see you. Thank you. So yeah, I know that Anna in Portuguese with one N, and it's also beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny and tragic. It's tragic in the results and consequences, and funny in its absurdity. It's just like you cannot even think of such a stupid decision. So literally, Belarus is annexed, and that was the plan for that was the plan for Ukraine. That's when we stood against Yanukovych. That is exactly what they wanted for Ukraine, the silent annexation, and we stood against this. And I also feel very bad for the people in Belarus that were not supported back in 2020. And now we have these consequences. They can use the territory of the country to attack Ukraine. They can threaten the Baltic countries from the territory of Belarus. And they can use Belarus, especially after the sanctions lifted, to get access to resources. That's exactly what Putin wants. So honestly, there is no excuse. There is no 3D chess, as people love talking about Trump in this situation. And I hope that even those people who keep supporting Donald Trump understand that he is making mistakes. We're not going to talk about his personality or something else, but this is a huge mistake. And the fact that he somehow likes Lukashenko and Putin more than Stubb or Zelensky or Macron is something that we have to speak about. To remember to like this stream so that more people can see us, learn about us. You know that views are dropping now. I am okay about that because I see it happens to different channels. And I understand that there are so many news, and some of you actually say that you do not receive updates from me, it's because YouTube does not recommend it that much. So please be sure that you push that bell that brings you notification. Thank you so much to Balkane. Thank you. And you will have an early access to our interview with an extremely interesting and actually beautiful Saha activist. It was so interesting. She was wearing their national earrings, and it was so interesting to look. I love this stuff, so it was a pleasure to speak and to look at her. So uh, let's finish with Belarus. But I have more hopes for this country. They don't want to go together. Yeah, and Mette, which is a cool lady for me. So all the good people, he hates them, and all the bad guys, he adores. He's just like a puppy next to them. I'm sorry. And you know what puppies do when they are hyper excited. Yes, I mean that. Anyway, I know that the views are dropping, and we do have problems with the fundraiser. And I would love to ask you to support it. Consider supporting it if you feel like. Thank you so much, Ken, for buying me coffee. Cheers to that. I will drop the link, and I know that my amazing guardians keep dropping, and Martin, the bustator, also drops links to my Anna Danilchuk channel, which is something that you have to subscribe to if you haven't. I'm sorry, do not insult puppies. You're light, but yes, I mean they pee on the carpet. That's exactly what I meant. Thank you so much, Cindiana. It was a pleasure talking to you and your audience this week. So please consider supporting that fundraiser. They are very good. They are very honest and transparent. You can find Ukraine Aid Operations on X. They have a huge following there. They also develop their patches, but I personally think that the idea of the fundraiser is beautiful because it's about robots that save lives. I had that robotophobia. I didn't like them, and I don't feel comfortable around robots, even if they are for commercial use at a supermarket or elsewhere. But this world changes a lot, and there are bad robots and good robots. Just imagine. I feel like I sound like there's like UFO TV channels or something, but there are good and there are bad robots. And good robots are on the Ukrainian side. So you can actually, once you, it seems to me, United 24 use this, like you can adopt a robot, so you can have your own robot. So by supporting this fundraiser on Dropbox, you can actually ground drones campaigns. How can people resist the ground drone campaign? Come on, it's great. Yeah, that's a great quote that I really needed to read too. So, but perhaps let's switch to something more optimistic, and that is economic problems in Russia. And all these moves and even lifting sanctions on the oil that is now in the sea cannot change a lot. Thank you so much, IKFK, for your support. Thank you. But before we continue, I have a question for you. Let me know, do you feel like more worried about the world, about more wars happening, or I don't know, a serious escalation, which honestly with Trump can be more likely than even in Russia-Ukraine war? And there was like an interesting saying, Anna is not flirting. Anna is not flirting. Anna is talking about life here. So this is super important to understand then such unpredictability, negative relations with partners, some humiliation that the White House gives to people who do not deserve it. This makes the world even more tense, even more electrified, and everything is extremely, and I see that most of you say that you are worried, and greetings to Minneapolis, and worried, more concerned, yeah, mentally deranged, and like China versus Taiwan, afraid for Taiwan. Thank you so much, Sir. Epic US midterms, and I have a fear that Trump somehow will cancel the elections. Be careful, protect that right, because that might be quite dangerous. He may use this war. He may use something, because, well, the polls are very bad for the Republican Party, and they actually could change a lot by not supporting some of Trump's decisions, but they didn't choose it. Teşekkür ederim, Serkan. Thank you so much for making the community stronger. And dear sponsors, remember to use your opportunity and to watch something. Yeah, and I'm happy to read that Americans are aware of that. And I know I heard it from many of my friends who worried or who changed their opinion. And I think it is super important. Definitely, Trump constantly helps Russia. And by the way, did you see the video he recorded to support Orban recently? He recorded a video to support Orban, who does not have good numbers in polls. But I did love a lot of comments that say, taking into account recent Trump's mistakes, miscalculations, it may be that the video he records actually will work against, actually will work against Orban. It's just like, okay, the moment, because it seems to me, and I'm not mistaken, uh, that for a couple of times already, when Trump supported someone in the US politics, this did not help. And Orban, I think it's time for Orban to retire. From what I understand, that support is not strong, and perhaps for the first time in a very long period of time, the change can happen in Hungary. But also, I'm not like following that carefully the elections, because elections are always very toxic, and you know that you have recently gone through that in the United States for a very long period. By the way, guys, how long Orban? But I know that maybe things 2012. Let me check how long Orban is the prime minister. And most likely he is the prime minister. Let's have a look. He was briefly prime minister in 1998, and then since 2010. 2010, so 16 years. I believe 16 years is enough. And he, by the way, made Hungary a poor country, and he blocks a lot of good decisions. And I think that he is, of course, that you see people in Florida, and I also read some other comments, fear that Trump will cancel elections. I believe when he understands that he does not have support, he will do everything to cancel elections. So this may be quite, dangerous. So at this moment, Hungary, we have a lot of memes here in Ukraine, because you know that most of Orban's campaign is built against Zelensky. And I have a lot of people sending me photos of this very disgusting and sometimes pathetic posters of Zelensky eating borscht and looking bad together with Ursula von der Leyen all over Hungary. And I did love a very nice, like a very nice meme in Ukraine, because like There is so much Zelensky all over Hungary, and like a Hungarian enters a voting booth, like to make a vote, and he's like, because there is no Zelensky on the list. Because when you have that much Zelensky everywhere during an election campaign, you start to think that maybe Zelensky, like participates or something like that, but he's not. So honestly, this is just crazy. Like, if you build your political image just on hating someone, I guess it's not the sign of strength, so that you have a program or that you can offer something. Perhaps time to retire, someone says. Yeah, Zelensky. It's just like everywhere. So yeah, Ukraine is united in solidarity. We do have things we don't like, but in general, we are a healthy, and I may say normal country, which I already see as a very rare thing on this planet, unfortunately, because of that chaos and craziness that comes from very sometimes unexpected places. Yeah, I totally agree with Ian that China, Japan is the one to watch, because there were some negative comments. And I watch one Ukrainian expert that I like a lot, and I speak about him. I often quote him in my videos, Vitaly Portnikov, and he also says that like, it may be that like China can do something minor to Japan or to other countries in that region to test and to demonstrate, most likely, that there won't be support from the White House. And once again, I hope you notice how I do not say America, because White House is one thing and the people of the United States is another. And amazing people of the United States, you did a lot of good things and changed a lot of stupid decisions to support us or other things that you care for and love for. Keep doing that. That's important. Thank you so much, Pat. So let's finally start talking about the Russian economy, because that's why we gathered here. And when I've told you about this, like drops in views, and I understand anytime a new war occurs, it's so difficult, plus people are worried. And that's very natural. But together with this, the problems inside Russia may fall out of focus. And that is what people like Witkoff, like Kushner, like Trump are using to manipulate the opinion of people in Europe, to manipulate the opinion of people in the United States, people elsewhere, NATO, I don't know, that Ukraine is losing. There is no way you can win over Russia. No. And I did love this like very simple comparison. Russia did not reach any of its political aims in Ukraine. It wanted to demilitarize Ukraine, now the countries of the Gulf. And I think the United States are getting Ukrainian drone technologies. And we have the strongest active European army that has the experience of the 21st century war, that is so different from what the NATO countries were preparing for. You know that I do not like showing off or things, but it was all over the news that there was some recent trainings with Ukrainian drone operators and NATO forces. It seems to me in Estonia or somehow related to Estonia. And we totally destroyed them. It's good because we are allies and it was a training. But these trainers and generals of NATO were shocked to see how Ukrainian drone operators can sink a huge warship. And they literally don't know what to do. You will not put like a lot of Patriot systems on a ship or so on. So it's not about boasting that, we're so cool. No, it's all about cooperation, support, friendship, and understanding that NATO must survive and NATO needs Ukraine. And not just like because you are kind and you can take us, but because we are the only country that knows how to fight the modern war and is on your side. Because unfortunately, there are other countries like China that peeps into what Russia does for the money they give. and Russia and North Korea. And Ukraine is the only one prepared to share, prepared to help. Greetings to Finland. And so, what we know that Putin is faking, and this things about lifted sanctions and the fact that oil prices are going up, it doesn't mean that it has the potential to change everything in the Russian economy. And at first, well, like, of course, I feel very disappointed because that's the betrayal, and not just of Ukraine, but of allies. And this brings joy to Putin when he sees how easy it is to manipulate Trump. I sometimes think that they sit in that Kremlin, drink their bloody vodka, and cannot believe they are so lucky. Because if someone told me a similar situation 2 years ago, I would not believe, like, even knowing the first term of Trump, because it's so openly pro-Russian right now. But let's say, okay, we have this like problems, that war in Iran, and not that much war in Iran, but actually lack of plan, no strategy. I'm sure that American intelligence is strong, and I'm sure that American intelligence shared with Trump their thoughts about this potential attacks on the Gulf countries and something, but he decided not to listen. So at this moment, it may seem that Russia has some benefits, like lifted sanctions, and not just lifted sanctions, but more and more, like prices going higher, up, and which is like absurd that Trump lift sanctions on Iran oil, giving Iran regime more money to fight against which he wants. Just honestly, like, I think that alone is a very big reason to question his sanity. But um, let's forget about this. I think a lot of people have that pictures already of Trump. So, but if this war continues, which is bad, and there is no plan, there is no solution, but if it continues the way it is, this will lead us to what? We all know this will lead us to a hugissima economic crisis, like something we have never experienced in the 20th century, in the 21st century, maybe. Everybody agrees on that it will bring us to a huge economic crisis globally. Not in the US, not in the European Union, not like in New Zealand, but generally, globally, in Ukraine, in Russia, in France, everywhere. Just because everyone is everything is very connected. And this is super important to understand that Russia has no financial cushion, that at this moment, Russia lacks trillions of rubles already in their federal budget. They started measuring everything in trillions. The inflation is growing. They predict recession this year. So, for those countries that are better off, the crisis will be bad. There will be some negative consequences, but at the same time, they have more chances to survive an economic crisis in comparison to Russia. So even if they have like an opportunity to sell their oil for months or two, which is also very wrong and treasonous, but still, this will not save their financial system from that collapse. And I need to read the quote that keep thanking Philip, our amazing moderator, but also extremely talented author, for his songs. And I know that actually more to come, and Russian economy may even be mentioned, but I greatly advise you to subscribe to Philip's page and check, because it's beautiful. The video, it's extremely meaningful, And I do love a lot of quotes from this. The second one about the orcs was quite dangerous for YouTube. You know, it's very sensitive to this, but Philip is brave. Thank you so much. And news on next weekend. So, time to subscribe and follow the channel. And I do find a lot of inspiration there. Unfortunately, we cannot say it very often if we don't want to be blocked because it has some reasons. But let's return back to the problems they experience, and maybe we will hear about that next week too. So, I don't know. Have you heard about the serious problems with cattle in Russia? I don't know if you have heard about that, because there are tons of videos of Russians that now are against, like, their cattle is taken out, the farm in Novosibirsk, yes, and many more regions. And for a very long period of time, I could see these videos and I realized they mean something important, but I could not like understand what is happening. Why are they so angry? Why nobody's talking about the situation openly? Well, like, stupid me, why nobody's talking about the situation openly? It's because we are talking about Russia. But there were a lot of videos when these farmers, they are crying, they are shouting, they are asking for explanation, they want to protect their cattle, and they do not understand what is happening. And today, on X, and I think I shared it on X, I found one man from Russia explaining what is happening. And this is super frightening. So they say that, yeah, there is a disease, but they did not explain what disease. And the farmers were angry that they do not take any tests, that they do not act according to these traditional rules, that they simply do something very unusual. And so at first they claim these are rabies. And then that farmer says that if it's rabies, then it's one kind of, like protocol, something that is different, and that they do not kill all animals, that they test, they have the like observe them, so it doesn't happen like that. Then they were talking about another disease that I cannot repeat because I've never owned a cow, but something bad, something dangerous. And you can check it, that's important, that's actually, that tells a lot about the state of the Russian economy, about the attitude of Putin to people, and also about this general Russian attitude and how dangerous it is for people. So they were talking about rabies, they were talking about something else, and then they say that it is the way they act. It corresponds. Pat says the right pasteureolosis is a bacterial pneumonia. That's what they said. Yeah, oh my god, Philip will kill me for the way I pronounce it, so no, sorry. No, but you can read in Pat's comment. It's bacterial, and he says they do not act like that. So they believe, according to that farmer, that they experience one of the most dangerous diseases that can actually be considered a biological weapon too. And I have just looked up the translation, like FMD, foot and mouth disease. I don't know if it helps you anyway, but it is a very serious disease, like aphthous fever, and it's a virus. What makes it different from all the other stuff, that it can spread really quickly, and most importantly, when there is an epidemic of this disease in a country, uh, the country must yeah, Google Siberia and 15 regions. A country must warn foot and mouth disease. Yeah, it's extremely dangerous to get rid when it started. It's a virus that kills the cattle and can cause serious like problems to the country in general. But the rules are, if it occurs in any country, the country must inform the World Health Organization. It is a standard, a rule, or something. Thank you for your correction. And mm, it's so important to understand that like it's a protocol, it's something that people do not break. People inform that it happens in the country, and then it's not dangerous to people from if am I don't know, it seems to me that it's not, but it kills the cattle at a very high speed and it's bad. Thank you so much, Erin, and thank you, Mark, for buying me coffees and time to sip. But anyway, remember to like this video, and maybe we can get 1,000. I remember good old times when we had like 2,000. But anyway, with this kind of attitude, Russia is obliged to like war. Russia is obliged to, no, I don't drink alcohol when I'm speaking to you, never. I'm always drinking the water, the sparkling water that I like. It's peach and orange Ukrainian on the mineral water. It's one of my favorite. So Russia was obliged to inform about these disease, and another direct consequence, if it is experienced by a country cannot export its meat outside. I'm not sure if just meat or anything from its agricultural production, not to spread the disease. And so it's just like the main reason why Russia cannot speak about this, why Russia cannot afford telling the truth. So because the moment they inform about the situation in the country, about the epidemics, they have to stop exporting everything. And Russia is now not in that position. Russia needs money. They are no more an oil country. And I kind of liked it how that Russian farmer said that you may say why this rich gas and oil country needs export of meat. It's not that critical. But he said Russia stopped being a rich gas and oil country. Now, gas and oil brings losses to Russia. Yesterday, we didn't manage to speak about that a lot in the vlog. But no food exports. Yeah, you see, if you have food and mouth, no food exports in general. So for Russia and for their economy, they are still allowed apparently to export food. This would mean like it is worse than sanctions. It is worse than sanctions because like you see a lot of countries didn't care about a lot of countries didn't care about sanctions, and Russia found loopholes. But with this, it's universal, and literally no country that even supports Russia wants this disease on their territory, and they would not accept export from Russia. They would demand such actions. And this farmer explains that Russia lost its ability to earn profit from energy export. That's why they try to get these leftovers whenever they can. And to speak openly that they have the disease, they cannot. And also, look how bad it is from this like human perspective, from animal perspective. And I'm not surprised at all. For me personally, when I look back in the period of the Soviet propaganda, when I look at the Russian censorship right now, perhaps the worst thing is their lies. For example, the Chernobyl disaster, a lot of bad things happened. Many believe that okay, it was a malfunction or it was a mistake of the workers, or like it could happen elsewhere. But why are you hiding the truth? Why do you expose millions of people to that radiation if you know it is in the air? Why do you make them go on this like the 1st of May parades, greetings to Italy? So it's it is what I consider the crime against humanity, not the disaster itself, but the way they handled it, how they tried to hide the truth, how they did not protect people, how they did not warn people, how they did not accept the support from the other countries to fight it in the proper way. This lies that destroys lives and health of generations of Ukrainians, Russians, Belarus, and actually many other countries in Europe. That is their main thing. And a very similar thing is happening right now with this. And it's a very Russian attitude. So they don't care. They can spread the disease. They don't care. It can destroy um, Russian agricultural sector, or it can harm you or me or even their own people. No, and they do not provide any explanations. Just imagine how awful it is to live in such a country, like that's disgusting, honestly. On another Nichuk channel, there will be a very interesting video today. Some of you asked me in comments about Ilya Remeslo, who was a Russian lawyer, not just a vlogger. He also blogged, but it was just like on the periphery. He is a lawyer. He is an activist. He is a person that helped Putin imprison Navalny. And out of the blue, he posted on his Telegram channel that he wants Putin to be arrested and that he is a war criminal, and named like 5 reasons why he stopped supporting him. And amazing Bus Tater has just reminded you about this YouTube channel that I think you could join if you haven't, or at least check it after it appears. So this is the reality. And thank you so much to Balkane. And thank you guys. I feel a little bit better now that we have some additional perks for the sponsors, so use them. And I will give more hearts to you. Anyway, this demonstrates a lot about the Russian mindset and also the changes they experience. Thank you so much, Sir. Because like the very fact that such people who helped Putin prosecute Navalny, who supported this war since 2014, now not just criticize him, not enumerate the number of flaws, but say that 26 years is too long to be a ruler of Russia, or name him a war criminal, and also say that, like, there are so many things that he ruined inside the Russian Federation. And now he's in a psychiatric clinic. If you want to know what happened in between, and I believe it's important, do check this video that will appear on the channel. And this very fact that the Kremlin is hiding the truth about the disease of the cattle, because they are fully relying on the export of food products. It only tells that right now the Kremlin is looking for any option to get some money, at least perhaps for the functioning of Moscow. Another very interesting observation that we do not talk a lot about is not just the fact that this internet shutdowns that continue all over the Russian Federation, including the sacred for Putin, St. Petersburg and Moscow, that these shutdowns of internet continue. But it is I've already told you that it destroys a lot of businesses that rely on the internet, and I'm sure many of you buy things on the internet, sell things on the internet, order things on the internet. So imagine that you lose all of this access. But honestly, some Russians report that they lose access to mobile phones, voice calls, and cannot even call an ambulance if they need. So then it is a crime against his own people. But what we are not talking about is that it costs a lot to shut down internet. It is not such an simple technology. Uh, and it's shut down because Putin fears protests, and also because Putin fears his security. When he learned about the way Israel and the United States neutralized Khomeini, he stopped appearing in the Kremlin. And now, don't worry, like Crimea was not something that Soviet Union gave us. Crimea was always a part of Ukraine, and there are lots of beautiful indigenous people in Crimea, like Tatars. And it was like Ottoman, Turkic for a very long period of time, and then Ukrainian. And then when it was destroyed in the Second World War, only Ukraine could rebuild it. You know, Russians are bad at rebuilding anything. Russians are good at destroying everything. So, the reasons why the internet is shut down: problems, protests, a lot of negative news shared by soldiers from the front lines. One of the reasons why they switch off Telegram, and also because Putin now fears that so many cameras he used to prevent protests, to follow people, can now be used against him, because that's exactly how Israel and the United States watched Khomeini traveling and then neutralized him. So Putin fears a similar thing may happen to him. But once again, we've told that like this internet shutdowns, they make people angry, and they actually, instead of preventing protests, may lead to that a lot of businesses are destroyed, and like already millions, if not billions of dollars lost all over the Russian Federation, because people cannot buy things they want, people cannot order things they want, and many more. But I have found one blogger who was in particular angry because he says that it was just like very Russian for you to understand the whole situation and remember to like this video. So he was saying that, okay, thank you so much, Francois. Thank you. He was saying that, imagine that I pay money to have mobile internet. I pay like literally every month. There is a fee, like utility fee or something that like you pay for internet. And he pays it in time, the sum that he needs. Then he does not get it. So he bought a service and he does not have the service because the Kremlin dictator shuts it down because he fears, for his life. And that man says, but not only I don't get the service that I paid for, but they actually use my taxes. They actually use my taxes to shut down the internet. And it turns out that these global, big, like all over Russia, all over Moscow, internet shutdowns are extremely expensive. So Russians who do not get access to internet are angry, but they actually pay for these shutdowns. This is how the Kremlin tricks them. This is how the Kremlin uses them. Thank you so much, Rudy. This is the so well-known Russian hypocrisy. And it's just like, yeah, but the ignorance is priceless, that everybody wants this kind of ignorance, but that's insane. So just imagine. And many are awakening. They did not care about Ukraine. They did not care about isolation. Maybe they didn't travel the world. But now, when they realize that they are looking like that they are paying for the problems they experience. This is insane, and this is what makes them super angry, because that's not what they wanted. And just imagine, you don't have money to pay salaries for construction workers. There were huge protests in Murmansk, so you don't have money to pay people salaries, but at the very same time you spend millions. That would be more than enough to pay the salaries, but you spend millions on internet shutdowns so that people lose more millions because they cannot sell and work on the internet, which is insane. And nobody's talking about that. Did you hear someone discuss it next to Donald Trump? No. And then he comes out and says, like, oh, Putin is so easy to deal with. That is just humiliating. And Russian businesses, they were very seriously influenced, mildly speaking, by Putin's desperate move to get more taxes. And do you know what's the Ukrainian for taxes? It might be interesting for you. Just the Ukrainian word. We rarely speak Ukrainian here, and sometimes we should. Podatki. So it's very different. Podatki. Uh, Pay taxes, платити податки. So everybody knows that it's not the way to податки, not KT, but TK, податки. It's not a solution. Like when you have so many problems in your country, and to put more pressure. Uh, are you kidding me? We don't like taxes in Texas. Oh my God. It's not the easiest one, but I'm working. So, anyway, it's not the best way if you want more money to put pressure on those businesses that are honestly paying their taxes, that are trying their best. But that was Putin's plan from the very beginning. Like, they did not have any other option, and they actually discuss how they want to get more, how they want to raise some fees, and that is something that they plan. And they actually want to put it on the spheres that are already in a big problem. And it's something that destroys the businesses, and they started publishing polls. So they talk to those businesses that need to close themselves, and there are lots of Russian videos when people record empty malls, when people record these videos where they need to close their offices, where they need to close their shops. It particularly touches, like food, clothing, retail, but that's how you feel the crisis, because maybe like Russians started sensing problems in the end of 2024 or the 2025, but it was still very are you planning to travel to Chechnya? I have never been to Chechnya. Chechnya is very far away from me. I'm not the person to ask about Chechnya. It's just like 1,000 kilometers away from me. Thank you so much, Serkan. Serkan calmed me down. Anyway, they started polling people in Russia, asking how they feel. But once again, those closed shops, closed restaurants, they work way better than any reports about like numbers, indexes, inflations, recessions. This is something like you have to dive in. And when you are an ordinary apolitical Russian who does not read a lot, plus now you don't have internet, you don't have Telegram, so you even don't have what to read a lot, that's one thing. But when you go out and you see a number of closed shops, bars, cafes, and now I've told you about that already, and you can check it yourself. There are tons of videos of Russian lifestyle vloggers like it because that's worth it. Uh, and that is a very typical, like thing. They started recording streets with empty cafes, with closed doors, closed businesses, and they do it like a hobby, just recording their time. So we may say it becomes very, very visible. You don't have to be an economic expert. You don't have to have a lot of money in the bank or to work in, I don't know, oil and gas business. Lukoil reported their losses are bigger than their earnings for the first time in 30 years. For the first time in 30 years, that is serious. So I don't think that bookshops are closed, but I also don't think they read a lot of good books. I we had this quote in documentary Big Russian Lies, and I also see other people repeat it in other formats. But I believe it's very, very important to understand. How many feel very sentimental about the Russian culture, the Russian literature. Now in Venice, they want to open Russian Biennale, and they say we're not fighting with the Russian people, we're fighting with Putin. I am sorry, these are Russian people, not Putin, killing us on a daily basis in tanks, drone operators, missile carriers. These are soldiers on our territory. These are people of Russia who support it. They stop supporting it because they are because they are, like, they don't like the consequences. And once again, on that Anna Danilchuk channel, you will see a video about that influencer Ilya Remeslo that went against Putin. But once again, friends, he did not go against Putin just because he cares for Ukrainians or he's terrified with what Russia does. No, he's angry because Putin failed. He is angry and he feels like the country is collapsing, the economy is destroyed, but it is not that they change their opinion. So please do not escape into that loophole that tells you that it's just Putin's war. No, no, no. Millions loved it. They just don't love it. They failed it. A lot of Russian vloggers say they are not effective at doing some bad things. There is a question. What about the United States reducing sanctions about the oil? That's a wrong, that's a mistake, that's a weakness. And everybody's like, have you seen how even small EU countries change their attitude towards Trump? They no more play, they respect him. Will Ukraine continue to set the oil on fire? Of course, that's the only option. But I believe now the United States, the White House, not the United States, the White House, will try to make us not do that. Here in Ukraine, we all wait for this information. Ukraine is constantly restricted to defend itself because the no, Ukraine and Russia are not beautiful and brothers, trust me. And Russians must be punished for what they did, and then for centuries beg for forgiveness and work on them. There are no such things. Like that's very stupid to say. And we must defend, of course. And you say Trump will tell Musk to turn on Starlink at some point. And I can tell you that first, Musk may not listen to Trump. You see, Musk may bury Trump or Trump may bury Musk. They don't seem like good friends. Second, Musk does not give that Starlink for free. So many of you good people think that he donates it. No, there are millions paid by our allies like Poland. People pay a lot of money for that. And if Musk allows himself to switch off just because he wants, he will lose clients, he will lose money because no other country will choose it. And I know that a lot are already working on the things to substitute Starlink with. That's smart. That's everybody working and thinking on. But it's not like he gives it for free. And when Poland bought it and he switches it off, people will stop buying it. And as greedy people, they cannot afford it. Because if it was different, they would turn Starlink long ago. Trust me. If it was possible, they would do it long ago, because I believe, you see, they are not very pro-Ukrainian or pro-democratic. But I wanted to finish about that culture and like Russian people. These are also Russian people. This is Russian war. This is not just Putin's war. Putin is just like the symbol, the avatar of everything they wanted. So, but in that documentary, and I've met similar quotes, so it's not something unusual, but what, like you say that Russia has a great culture, or Russia has a great literature. Literature is a part of culture, but in general. And I have a question to you. What is the main function of a culture? Let me be a teacher for a while. What is a main function of a culture? A culture must shape that nation, its people. A culture must bring them closer to some values. It teaches them, it educates them, it inspires them, it makes them people. Like, so can you say that Russian culture succeeded if you look at what it produced? The results of that culture. Do you like them? Do you see that all that was properly consumed and understood? No. And they actually lose a lot of use a lot of verses, a lot of quotes that are super imperial, like Pushkin, to uh, whitewash their crimes, because they said, well, it's just like Pushkin told us to do so. You know that countries that were empires had some poets that were imperialists, but you do not write their quotes on the walls of your even former colonies, because you know it's a sin, it's a crime, and Russia does it, and not just does it, but Russia says that it's cool, it's great, and our poet asked to do that. So it is extremely important to understand that we have to evaluate the culture by the results, by the nation it shapes or doesn't. And somehow, then, the Russian culture failed. But culture is something abstract that Russians do not feel, do not sense, and I'm sure, like most of them, do not read the books that some of these EU politicians keep quoting when they want to say that, like, we need to restore mafia relations with Russia, financial relations, we've been bribed, but let's say that it is the Russian culture that influences us. And by the way, lots of them cultural events, festivals were always used as a platform to communicate. For example, some music festivals, they discussed Nord Stream 2, and a lot of examples like that. So they always use it as a spy platform, as a business platform, as an influence platform. So, but most importantly, not many of them are reading it. I'm sure you can feel it by watching some interviews and the way they react. So how does Russia keeps the East from seceding? Well, I think that today you must, guys, you must watch the interview with Viluya Choinova, and that's a beautiful name. She is from Sakha, and Sakha is a very, 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 very big republic in Russia. It is the size of India, the size of India. And if or when Sakha decides to become independent, Russia literally loses half of its territory. And in the 90s, yeah, Yakuts live in Sakha. And I think, Serkan, you may like this interview because she tells a lot of really good things about Sakha people, introduces to culture, language, but also, just like I don't want to spoil the things, and all the sponsors will get the access to interview 1 hour earlier. And she speaks about the wells and also the problems. And Sakha is one of those regions that are very, very interested to break free. They wrote their constitution in the 90s. They had exchange programs in the 90s with the United States, with Canada, with Finland. A lot of businesses began coming to Sakha in the 90s when the Kremlin still did not take full grasp over them. And they were super happy to live, to develop. And then the Kremlin began, like прикручувати гайки. I don't know what's the English for that. And now all of their resources, like if you have a big business that is about the extraction of gold, diamonds, mines, and so on, guess where you need to register your company? No, you can never register your company in Sakha. You have to register it in Moscow. Yeah, perhaps turning the screw. You're right. Turn the screw. Yeah, might be. Give us 800 likes. That would be awesome. And please remember, good people, to support Ukrainian robots that are doing an amazing job. Honestly, they are saving lives. Thank you so much, Zaman, and doing it silently, invisibly in the locations where it's difficult to reach soldiers. They can deliver them provision, they can deliver weapons, and they can also evacuate people. Sometimes it's impossible for doctors to reach a soldier, and you know that Russians are targeting ambulances, targeting marshrutkas, targeting kindergartens, and they cannot identify such ground robots. So they are doing amazing things, and that is why by joining the fundraiser, you can. I don't know. I don't know why, but this idea got me a lot, because just imagine a person in the trenches praying to get something to protect their unit, and they have no hopes. And then that robot reaches them, brings them water, brings them ammunition, brings them drones they need, and they survive. And imagine that we have this robot just because you cared. I don't know why. Like it just like recently I read one very good book written by a Ukrainian veteran who had a very serious injury, survived, experienced a lot, and he's just like 26, almost a student. And when the book will be translated, and it will be in different languages, of course, including English, but a lot, I will definitely share with you, because I cried a lot. And you know that I'm a strong, not very, like it's just I can't control my emotions, but it was very difficult. And it's so beautifully written. It's so gently written. Artur Dron, his name. He was a student of Lviv journalist department, and then went to war as a volunteer. And it's just amazing that he is such a strong personality, and at the same time so such a sensitive observer, sensitive narrator. It's very difficult, to preserve that. And a book has a very provocative title. A book has a very provocative title. It says Hemingway knows nothing. And he loves Hemingway. He read a lot of his works, and he was an inspiration for him when he was a student. And I think you should also match your lipstick to your nails. The one who gives me that advice, do it to yourself too. Because I don't see you, I don't know what color suits you better. I'm talking about robots saving lives, or people sacrificing themselves for the safety and security. So it's not the perfect moment for advice on lipsticks. And he was a huge fan of Hemingway, and he loved reading books about war, like Remark, like Hemingway, of course. And at the same time, there is no predicted end of the conflict. Nothing shows that. We believe that serious problems with the Russian economy and protests and these internet shutdowns and rumors about coups, these are the signals. And Russia will end the war when its economy collapses. That's what we see. When will it collapse? Depends on a lot of reasons. That's how we see. But nobody thinks it will happen. You cannot, after 4 years of war, you become realistic. It's not something you may say will happen in November. It is always a long process. And nobody, nobody never believed in negotiations, because they did not exist. When missiles kill you at night, and then Witkoff, with no diplomatic experience, travels to Moscow, it's nothing. Nobody thought that, oh my God, we were so close, but then, no. Nobody thought that there are any real negotiations. The moment real negotiations start with ceasefire. Ceasefire is number one demonstration that people take any effort on negotiations seriously. It was always a trick. How can we destroy them? But remaining resilient, and with more and more economic problems accumulating in Russia. When will they reach that final moment? It may be the next month, or it may be in half a year, I don't know. Or Putin and Trump will lift all the sanctions, I don't know. All the other oil refineries will be destroyed in the world, and I don't know what happens next. Russia invades Estonia, China, Taiwan, USA, Cuba, and then so I may ask, sometimes we say, when do you think it will begin? That's what we talk about. So that book I was talking about, it is entitled Hemingway Knows Nothing, because after spending years on this full-scale war for your own country, when it's not your choice to travel far away, but to fight for your country, when they come to your country, he decided to write this book and to say, he does not undermine the authority of Hemingway, but he says Hemingway knows nothing. Because even when Hemingway fought his wars, he knew that everything is okay with the United States. And here it's not. It's on your territory. When war happens on your territory, on your cities, in your cities, in your streets, in your homes, in your schools, it's a very different feeling. It's painful, it's dangerous to participate in foreign wars. You see how the people of the United States, even super supporters of Trump, do not support the idea of troops on the ground in Iran. And that's understandable. but it is very far away. When it is in your home, on your streets, in your country, thank you so much, the real Phil. It's something very, very different. And Artur Dron, the book, when the book will appear, I will definitely let you know when it is in English. I mean, trying to find maybe some article or something, because I was super impressed. Like I'm not reading a lot of books on war in Ukraine, because I genuinely believe that more time must pass before you actually, maybe I will give you a link. You Some time must pass, because it's not that easy to write, to process, and some people are in a hurry, and some works that are dedicated to war may not be that may not be that okay. I will give you, I don't know, not many things, it's a problem, not many things in Ukrainian, but I will give you a link of in English of Pan Ukraine that you may. Thank you so much, Arms. Um, High level military personnel are leaving the White House, or what? So this is a link if you want to know a little bit more. And he's definitely a very talented person, and he describes these details that are heartbreaking sometimes with such a talented narrative style, when it's not rough, when it's not something negative. It's super. I will give you updates on my book. I will give you updates. I'm making it more interesting. It's a long process, people. It's if you have plans, and if you want to be author, not just self-publish something, because that's not my way. You have to work and rework, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But you will definitely be the first one to know. And remember that soon there will be a video. Maybe give some more thumbs up. And I once again encourage you to watch this interview with an extremely interesting. She is very articulate, and a lot of discoveries. Like, sometimes I record interviews where I want you to learn more about Ukraine or some Russian republics, but I already know a lot, and it's not that I discover that much for myself. But this time, there were a lot of discoveries for me too. So soon it will appear on the channel, and of course, Anna Danilchuk, a new one, will appear there. Consider supporting the fundraiser. They are very slow these days, and my beautiful friends who also happen to be moderators are a bit worried about that, but we see this is a general thing because people are worried about what is happening. Thank you so much, Mikhail, and thank you so much, Peter, for your constant support. This means a lot. So remember to support this fundraiser. I once again want to thank you for protection, Martin and Philip and Michael and Thomas and Rudy and Spencer and all the good people that joined us today. Our community is amazing, and this is what sometimes I have a feeling that people like you keep this planet on its axe because everything is so crazy and so unpredictable. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to watch all the other videos that will appear. I'm sorry if I am overloading you with content, but Saturdays are like that. Follow me on social media, and you know that now we have a weekly newsletter on Substack. It's free. So some of you who have problems with joining as paid members, I don't know what's the reason, because I have some people who join without problems and others who have problems. I don't know how to solve it because, once again, some can, others cannot. But it was intended as a free platform, fully as all. I'm always grateful if you buy coffees, become patrons and sponsors. I'm trying to provide some additional perks, but the main thing I'm forever grateful for is that you want to know what is happening in Ukraine, that you want to understand that Russia is weaker than Donald Trump wants, and that now is not the time to appease them and simply prolong and multiply the conflicts around the world, because Russia is all in Iran war. We need to finish the demilitarization, especially after so many successes and when Putin is the weakest ever. And if you want to know how people feel about him, do check new video that will appear on Danilchuk. Thank you once again for all your kindness, all your love, and united we stand. Slava Ukraini!